Be giving out my picks for the first fight card of PFL in 2019. We jump into the regular season. We got Kayla Harrison taking on Katova here. Gotta go with Kayla Harrison, getting it done. Kayla Harrison has a lot of hype behind her. She has Renzo Gracie Academy training her. Her boyfriend's Anthony Martin, who's competing in the UFC. So, she's getting tons of help. And she has a lot of good bodies around her to help develop her become a star in the PFL. And I think that's what the PFL wants out of her, to become like the next Ronda here. Um, she has a solid submission game. Her three fights all came by stoppage. Her wins, TKO, two TKOs, and one submission victory. But Katova, her opponent from Russia, has competed in Fight Night Global Russia, so that's a pretty tough promotion to compete in. It's pretty much where all the top prospects compete in Russia before they make that transition over to Bellator, the UFC. So I just feel like they're pushing Kayla to become a star, and they're just gonna give her a pretty much opponent for her to easily win against. So with that being all said, you gotta go with Kayla Harrison. I mean, just too much hype around her, and she should be able to get it done. As we move into the co-main event, we have the new millionaire, the big check winner, the millionaire fighter Magomed taking on John Herrick Doomsday. We know that Doomsday is a veteran. He's competed in the UFC, holds big wins over guys like Uriah Hall. He competed against Lorenz Larkin, but he's up there in age. He's a shorter fighter, and if you see the reach advantage going into this fight, 73, 72 for a guy to be that tall against someone so short. You would think the reach would be a lot more longer, but I just think John Howard, too much wear and tear. He's been in the game too long, and he's fighting a tough Russian, young Russian at that. And this is the guy who fought against Ray Cooper third, and finished him to become a millionaire in the first PFL, check winner. So I gotta go with Magomed getting it done. Magomed, yes sir. Ray Cooper taking on Zane Kamakai here. As you can see, Zane's on a big win streak. Ray came up short on the $1 million check. But the guy holds wins over Jake Shields, a man who was a Strikeforce champ, a guy who competed against George St. Pierre. Ray Cooper got a lot of dynamite in those hands, and it just takes one shot for him to land and put you out. Zane on the other side, yeah, man, he has a 6-inch reach advantage going into this fight. 6'1", but the question is he going to be able to keep the distance and keep the pressure of Ray Cooper off of him? We don't know. This guy Zane, he's fought high level guys before who's fought in the UFC like Bilal Muhammad. So he's had taste of top level guys, but I just think that Ray Cooper, with him beating Jake Shields, former champ of Strikeforce, and that just shows a lot about him, and and that just tells he's a top level guy. So I gotta go with Ray Cooper getting it done. As we move into the women's fight, we have Sarah Kaufman taking on Mad Dog Morgan here. Right off the bat, I like Sarah, just for the fact that she has tons of more experience than this girl. This girl's 4-1 Morgan here, Mad Dog. You know what I mean? And Sarah's fought all over the UFC and faced some of the best women in the world. So with that being said, I gotta go with the veteran, the woman with more experience, riding a 3-fight win streak. gotta go with the Canadian getting it done, Sarah. We got David here taking on Sai here. I like Bulldog winning this fight. We've seen him compete before in Bellator. He's on a big fight win streak. He's a solid, grappler. As you see, Sai will have the height advantage and the reach going into this fight. He's a nasty kickboxer. Most of his wins are from TKO. But I think David should be able, to get the takedown, score points, maybe lay and pray. But David, like I said, has competed in Bellator. He beat fighters in the LFA, and he fought also in Combate America. So he's fought in some pretty decent organizations. He lost to Diego Lima, and he also lost to Mercier. So he's competed in the UFC. And he holds wins in the UFC also. So I got to go with David here, getting it done. Just more experience. He's fought in the UFC, and he holds wins in the UFC. So I got to go with David here. Henderson, Ferreira, Haydeson, Ferreira taking on the Siberian Steel here. I got to go with Ferreira here, just for the fact that he beat guys like Rick Story. He also beat Ray Cooper before. He's 13-2. He has, solid names on his record. Like Rick Story is a tough dude to beat, and for him to TKO him like that in round two says a lot. He beat Paul Bradley also, who's a veteran of the game. He's competed in Bellator, competed in World Series of Fighting. So yeah, the PFL. So I gotta go with Haydeson Ferreira getting it done. As we move into the women's, we got Fabian versus Bobby Joe. Gotta go with the Canadian here. Just right off the bat, more experience, 6 foot tall. She's a big female. She's undefeated, and yeah, we gotta go Bobby Joe. We got tough fight here. The welterweight division. We got Canada taking on Brazil. Gamazat taking on Franca here. I gotta go with Franca right here, man. I think the experience is gonna play a role in 19-5. This Russian fighter is only 7-0. You know what I mean? He hasn't fought as much as the Brazilian, so he wouldn't have the experience. And Franca's on a big win streak. He holds wins over a man that might ring a bell to you, Takashi Sato, a man who just beat Ben Saunders. He subbed him in round 4, so that just shows that he's a high level guy. If he could beat Sato, who just beat Ben Saunders, I mean that the guy's no joke. And he fought Gregor Gillespie before in the UFC also, and lost to James Vick by decision. So this man has, high quality names on his resume, and that's why we got to go Franca here getting it done. We have Chris Curtis taking on Andre here, the action man. It's on a big win streak. I gotta go with Chris Curtis, man. The action man, he's exactly what his name is. Nothing but action, man. You know what I mean? He's on a big win streak for a reason. The guy's been putting in hard work. And think he should be able to edge out a decision just for the fact that he mixes it up pretty well. Solid wrestler, and most of his wins are from decision. So if he doesn't TKO you, he's looking to grind you out by decision. And I like those odds, man. I gotta go with the one and only Chris Curtis, the action man, getting it done. We're gonna be closing out this fight card here. We gotta go with Larissa getting it done against Roberta. Roberta here, huh? The Crusher, huh? 4-1. Coming off her first loss, doesn't really have the experience compared to Larissa. And that's pretty much why I'm making my pick with Larissa here, just for the fact she has a record of 11-2. You know what I mean? And experience is always could play a big role in someone's victory. You know what I mean? Roberta, you know, is coming off a loss to Julia Budd in Bellator. So she has some, she's fought in the big promotions, but just think the lack of experience is going to give her the loss. So those are my picks for World Series of Fighting. Thank you guys for watching. Yes, sir.